Hi, everybody. So, this week we're talking about relationships and how we can show up in ways that really uh, help create healthy relationships. And one of the most important things that I think you can do is to be an excellent listener. And, a lot of listening is the nonverbal communication that you are using as someone is trying to communicate with you. And so I want to just go over some things you might think, well, duh, Cindy, this is like the elementary school of listening skills. But yet I think we often forget about them and don't do them and aren't conscious about them. So one of the main things that you can do is stop doing whatever it is you're doing when someone really wants to talk to you and just focus in on them. Look at them. Look at them. Don't look at your nails. Don't look at the mail pile from the day. Don't be walking around. One of the worst things I did as a mom when the kids were really small was I was so busy and moving so fast, had so much going on that there were many times that they would be these two little people behind me trying to keep up with me and talking to me, and I would go, yeah, okay, yep, we'll do that. I'll be with you in a second. And they were trying to keep up with me and get my attention. I was moving so fast, and their little short legs, and I was kind of turning around barely to answer them at times. And that is just really very, very bad listening, very bad listening. So with a small child, you want to turn around, you want to face them eye to eye and get down, even crunch down so you are their height. Get eye to eye with them as much as possible. But the same applies for people of all ages. You want to square up to a person as much as possible and give them some personal space, whatever's appropriate for your relationship with them. And maintain pretty good eye contact. Be careful not to stare, like do the long stare, but do look at them and think warm thoughts about the person and kind thoughts while you're looking at them, so they'll feel the kindness coming from your eyes. You know, they say that the eyes are the windows to the soul, and so we can be very expressive with our eyes. And so make sure you're listening kindly with your eyes, and then as you're listening, you might kind of nod your head a little bit or give them some sense like, oh, so, no, do not interrupt them for sure, and just go, oh, and then when they kind of take a break from sharing a thought or whatever, this is very, very important. Then make sure they've stopped. And then before you give them your take on this situation, then you want to do some kind of reflective communication, reflective listening to them. So you might want to say, if they said, yeah, my day was really stressful, the boss was disappointed in my statistics, and I ran late because I forgot something, and I'm just really, really tired and frustrated, and I need to just chill out tonight. Then you might say back to them something like, you don't want to mimic them, like say the exact same thing like a parrot would, but you might want to say, wow, it sounds like you really had a challenging day from start to finish, and you just need to be able to kick back tonight and not do anything. Is that what I'm hearing? You know, something like that, instead of, well, you should have seen the day I had, right? There's one thing we often do. We try to one-up the person we're talking to, not because we're trying to be rude, but it's a human tendency to go, well, this is what happened to me. You've told me what's happened to you. Now I'm going to give you my story. But before you do that, you want to give them back their story so they know, wow, she heard me. She really heard what I had to say and knows what I need to do this evening, knows what I really, really need to do this evening, if at all possible. And so reflect back, make sure they're heard, make sure you got it correct. So you might say at the end of when you're reflecting back, go, is that, am I hearing you correctly? Is that what you need? Is just to be able to kick back tonight and not really do anything if possible? And they can go, yes, thank you for understanding, or whatever. Then you might say, well, is it all right with you if I share my day now? And give them some give them some input on your day, and maybe you both need to kick back. But either way, maybe you had a super great day. Great, so everybody gets a chance to share, but one at a time, no interruptions, lots of eye contact and some kind of visual confirmation that you're hearing them, squaring up, being physically very much like they are. If they're sitting like this, you might kind of sit like that, or if they're standing up, you stand up with them. If they're sitting down, sit down with them. And no interrupting, of course. And then reflecting back a little bit. Now, when you need to listen the most is when they're the most upset and when they're coming after you with something too. And that's a little more challenging. I know. So you might need some extra patience and biting your tongue a little bit, waiting. But you want to do your best to not escalate. If they're escalating when they're talking to you, in other words, if they're getting louder and faster and have, strong visual cues that they're very angry, upset, you want to de-escalate yourself as much as possible, because we want to put some balance in the room, right? We don't want to do this. This is usually what happens, is one escalates, the other comes right with them, like, well, yeah, but you did this, but I did that, and yeah, but, and so as someone's temperature is rising, do the best you can to de-escalate. So if they're standing and you're standing eye to eye, you might, you might like sit back, go sit down, and just look very, very calm while they're doing what they need to do. And then again, reflect back. You don't have to agree with them or disagree at this point, or maybe ever, but just go, oh, so you're really upset with me about that I forgot to pay the utility bill, and I didn't wash the car like I said I was going to, and so that now you feel like you're in a bind. So reflect back, and then let them know what's going on with you in the most truth and grace way that you can. Anyway, I'll say more about how to handle conflict and things like that in a future video, but let's just work on our basic listening skills at this point and see how that makes a difference. So get squared up physically, give good eye contact, warm eyes, kind eyes, some visual reassurance that you're listening. Yes. Reflecting back to them what you heard in some different words than theirs. Checking in, is that what you meant to say, or am I catching what you're saying? And then move on from there. So anyway, I hope that's helpful. I think the art of listening is truly significant in how healthy our relationships can be. Thanks. Have a great night.